Good afternoon, YouTube. I've decided to start making videos, and they're mostly going to be Yu-Gi-Oh! Based. I must say a few things before I get going to any other sort of video. I'm not a professional video taker. I'll screw up a lot. I'm not easy. I don't have a big budget to bust on a bunch of stuff, so I'm just going to have to say right now that if you expect to see a lot of big, expensive cards on here, please don't. I do not have the money to buy them. And if I did, I probably wouldn't spend them on them. And now then. My videos are mostly going to be about card costs, cards themselves, countermeasures to said cards, decks, archetypes, strategies, and various things at request. And I'm taking this on my iPhone, so I'm going to have to ask you if you can forgive the swiveling. This is going to be really annoying to do. But anyway, I think I'd like to start off trying to talk about a certain card that's run in a deck that personally I do not like. That would be Mecha Phantom Beast Dracossack. I do not own one, so I'm going to use a token to stand in place of Dracossack. Ignore the card itself, just think of it as Dracossack. Dracossack is a 2600 2000 attack defense point monster, and it's wind rank 7. It requires 2 overlay units, and its effect is once per turn you can detach an Xyz material from it and special summon 2 tokens. But you also have access to a second ability, which is tribute a Mecha Phantom Beast monster on your side of the field to blow up 1 card your opponent controls. That's the common use. I'm not sure if it's you can blow up a card on your side of the field. Don't know why you would though. In E-Drags or something like that. Anyway. Yeah. And after he uses this effect, he cannot fight. Mainly, I'd like to discuss card costs about this guy really quickly. In my personal opinion, he's too much. He's a good card, no doubt. Like, really can be good if played properly. And it's just, he's worth $100 or so right now on eBay, and that's not a price I'm willing to pay for a card. You can tell me all you want and hate comments about this. It's just I don't have a lot of money to do things with, and I especially do not have $100 to burn on a single card. Just in my opinion, I don't find it too worth it. I will occasionally break that rule in cases of certain cards, like a really good rare card that I wanted a few weeks back, that I now have 2 copies of. It was a pain in the neck to get them, though. Yeah. So, now then. I've talked about Dracossack's effect, so now it's time to start talking about counter strategies against him and grievances towards E-Drags, I guess. I have grievances towards E-Drags mainly because, well, E-Drags are a powerful, really broken archetype. Don't like going up against them, don't really like using them, they just feel too cheap. It's not saying they're without skill level or whatever, it's just they have too much power. They are literally nothing for pretty much game. You can go game really quickly with E-Dragons. And I do not actually own an E-Dragon deck. This is just gone in a deck, and it's subbing for one of the cards I need for it. but I have no rank 7, so the deck's pretty much on hold. But, anyway, my condolences towards E-Drags are that they're an expensive archetype to try to build. And, well, it's just it. They're just expensive to build and can take a long time to try to get the build right. And so, anyway, back to Dracossack. Dracossack has its ability that stops it from being destroyed, provided it's got a token on the field. This doesn't mean you can't banish the thing. You can still banish it. And Dracossack's got nothing to do about banishing. But in decks that don't really run a lot of banish cards, like Dimensional Prison, I can understand is a very good card. It's a very wonderful card. I'm not going to say anything else about it. Deep Prison's wonderful, except I just only have one copy of it. And so I've decided to use Bottomless Trap Holes in my main deck instead. Bottomless Trap Hole is a card that can stop Dracossack before he's a threat. Not for long, though. E-Drax can still bring him back relatively quickly, provided they have more than one copy of it. But that's $200. I've seen a lot of more realistic E-Drag builds. They're actually quite interesting. They don't necessarily have to run Dracossack, they just do sometimes. And countermeasures against Dracossack are anything that would negate his ability, remove him off the field that doesn't destroy him, or you could go for the typical Brute Barbarian approach and blow up the tokens. Get rid of the tokens in some way. You can use heck, you could even use Dark Hole. You could always try to use Dark Hole, but not really worth it, because you bang 2 tokens and you have a Dracossack staring you down, who can just call the tokens back, pretty much. And then you have E-Drags, which can combo into another Dracossack and basically beat the living crap out of you. So yeah, a lot of strategies would be to try to stop Dracossack's effect and stuff like that. If you don't, things get hairy really quickly, because once your turn's over and if you haven't gotten rid of Dracossack, he'll just blow you up. And if you've got a set face down, expect Dracossack to not even gun for your monster. Expect him to gun for the face down, probably. If the person's smart, that is, they'd aim for face downs if you got face downs. Yet again, that could also be a trap card specifically used to counter Dracossack. But first, he'd need to, if you blow up the tokens, like if you say you're out of options and you've got a face down, hold on one second. Oh crap! And you've got a face down Heraldry Record. Heraldry Record is one of those cards that makes fighting E-Drags, well, sort of easier. Because when an Xyz monster on your opponent's control would try to use its own effect by using an overlaying of its own, the effective Heraldry Record, negate the effect, and explode the monster. And that stops Dracossack and Big Eye really quickly. I had a guy who couldn't recover from having his Big Eye exploded by my Heraldry Record. Guess that's a problem about E-Drags being an OTK, they overextend real quickly. It's not even overextending, it's just their play. Their playstyle is a little bit too quick. Runs a little bit too many cards. Not too many cards. It doesn't run too many cards, it goes through too many cards. Anyway, you could always go with side options against stuff like Dracossack, like said Heraldry Record. Or you could use other things, like Divine Wrath would stop it if it's just starting its effect. Or you could go for stuff in your extra deck to use against him. Like, my main deck is Constellars. I love Constellars. I'd like to talk about my points regarding them in another video. But mainly, Constellars have a lot of answers for a lot of things. I'm not saying they automatically, oh hey, I'm playing Constellars, you immediately lose E-Drags. I'm not saying anything like that. It's just, they have a lot of ability, they have a lot of things they can do about some of the stuff E-Drags do. I'm not saying everything Constellars do can kill them, but case in point is, if you're running my build, summoning this guy, Starleash Paladynamo, is excruciatingly easy. Because all you need is 2 level 4 light monsters. You can easily do that with an Owl Yeti or a Pollux. Just get him out, use his effect, hit Dracossack with the set effect, beat Dracossack in. Because his effects are gone at that point. Because Paladynamo negates the effect of any monster that it hits, provided that it can reduce its attack points to 0. Meaning, you hit Dracossack with Paladynamo, he's a 0 attack point monster, no effect, he can be destroyed, you can just go for that. But preferably you wouldn't combo Omega and Starleash together to try to game against Dracossack. You should, if possible, and you're fighting E-Drags, it probably would be best to combo with either Pleiades and Tiras, or Pleiades and Dynamo. Tiras can't be destroyed by card effects so long as it has overlay units, and if it has attacked once in a turn, it can blow up one card your opponent controls. Pleiades can bounce any monster on the field. Well, actually, any card on the field. So if you got Swords of Revealing Light, you can bounce it. But, not my point. Pleiades is more like a long-run type of card. You would use him against Dracossack on the chance that they try to summon another Dracossack. Case in point is, in this situation, if you don't want to use an overlay unit to use Pleiades' effect, which I do not recommend you do, it's a waste of Pleiades' effect. You could kill both tokens with Tiras and Pleiades. They're gone. Dracossack's wide open. 4th kill. And Tiras' effect is once it's attacked or has been attacked, it can, at the end of the battle phase, destroy one card your opponent controls. So, with no tokens on the field, Dracossack is fair game for Tiras' effect, which is what I would use to blow him up. A good reason to use Tiras is if he plays another Dracossack, he's got to try to swing to kill it. And if you've got a combination of Pleiades and Tiras, you could survive for a feasibly decent amount of time until Tiras is out of overlay units or Pleiades is out of overlay units. And yeah, any light-based deck that can run Dynamo has one answer to E-Drag's Dracossack plays. And Dracossack just has a lot going for him. Not kidding. But one thing he definitely doesn't have going for him is card cost. His card cost is inhumane. I'd understand it if he was $20, $15 trying to get my hands on him, but he's not. He's $80. He's $100 or so. And well, I guess that's the end of my video. This has been Death Seraph 3. I only can ask that you forgive my mistakes. This is my first video past the Solemn Judgment video. And the Solemn Judgment video wasn't very big or very important. It was just, wow, I can't believe that happened. Anyway, I ask that you forgive any mistakes that I made, any rambling nonsense, like going off on no topic, or just randomly talking about stuff. I'll get more into specialized topics, and I'm going to put it in my description, my uploading schedule, and I'm just going to say that I'm not professional at this. I cannot really be. I hope that people can forgive my mistakes on this matter. But yeah, this has been Death Seraph 3, and I ask that you leave in the comment section recommendations as to what you'd like me to talk about next. Because all I need to do is play a deck a few times, build it my own way, scan it several times, and I've got the deck down. Well, not down, but I've got a good idea down. That's kind of what I did with my Constellars. But anyway, goodbye.